So in our space, as far as like podcasts, we are unique in that we take it from the aspect of teaching people about building the character and furthering the role and how to act while you're on the streets. All the other podcasts really take it from the aspect of either promoting national acts or Texas Renaissance Festival is actually their podcast is ran by George Cullum, who plays their king.
Okay.
And so Louisiana has one that they sponsor a podcast. There's a couple of guys that are up in Toronto, I think it was.
I think, yeah, it's something like that.
Toronto, where one's a knight, the other one like they're.
Haven't even come across.
Yeah, no. So there's when I did the analysis of this because.
But they haven't posted a new episode in months.
Right.
We're every week.
Their frequency is usually like once a quarter, or there's a group of girls that I think they're called the Renaissance Podcast or something like that, where they're all national acts, so they connect together on via Skype or whatever, Zoom or whatever, and they do a show, but it is very much centered around like behind the scenes of a national act.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are unique.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. There's nobody else out there that does exactly what we do, and we're actually very responsive to our audience because part of the reason why we have guests that come in is because we're not all knowing. So, and we recognize that. So we brought in, a couple of guys that specialize in our improv group. We brought in Matt and Pandora to talk about costuming and weapon etiquette and stuff like that. We had
Royston was on.
Royston talked talked about the music of the festival. He talked about his character. Then we also had Nick, who was on, and he's this week.
Okay.
This week, Nick's comes on with how he flamed, and that one's really fun. So we talk about all those fun things, but it's a trip, man. I mean, this whole thing it started with one concept that I had that I was like,
"Hey, want to start a podcast?"
Yeah,
Okay.
I was expecting some kind of pushback from him, and he was like, "I'm in." I was like, "Do you even want to know what it's about?" And he goes,
Don't care.
"Oh yeah.
whatever.
I guess I should know that." And I was like, "Yeah, that might be helpful." And he goes, "It sounds fun. I'm in."
I'm in. Let's do it.
And I said, "We're gonna attack the scape from the perspective of teaching people how to build their role, how to how to take that character from concept and keep it growing, because you don't want to play the same exact thing. I mean, even as your character, it's changed over the years. So I see Yen Shang in 5 years, 10 years from now is not going to be the same goofball that he was last year, because I had no idea what I was doing as like how I fit in. Well, let's go ahead and kick this over, man. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
I'm Rob.
I'm Keith.
We're the Renaissance Rascals.
We are.
We got a special guest for you today.
We do.
Oh my goodness.
She's right there.
Yeah, she's right
Right there.
over there.
I know.
And it's episode 35. Actually, it's episode 22.
It is, but
Okay.
We've got Lucinda Jinx from Herbalist to Icon. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yes. But first, we have to go to our sponsor.
We do.
Today's unofficial sponsor is Underhill Imagery. She's actually one of our friends. Has been at a couple of different festivals with us.
Yeah. She went down to Santa Fe.
She did.
And I believe she's working.
She's in a booth this year as well.
She's in a booth this year, yeah.
Yep, she'll be in a booth at the Colorado Renaissance Festival. But more importantly, she specializes in couples and fantasy photography, which is really awesome because...
Not that kind of fantasy, you.
Hey, I wasn't going to
weirdo.
put that out there, dude. I don't know. I'll do pretty much anything for money.
That's true. I'll do some sketchy stuff for.
She got a quarter.
I'll do sketchy stuff for a Klondike. Really,
Right? I mean, dude, I've been known to do weird stuff for raviolis.
If you have spaghetti, I'm in. I am down.
Our friend Becca, she's actually she doesn't just stay in Colorado. She just came back from a shoot that she went on outside of the state. So if you're looking for that fantasy photography shoot for you and your loved one, Or maybe it's just you and your dog or cat or like, a 4-foot iguana like I have upstairs.
It's true.
Then, yeah, look her up, underhill-imagery.com. And you can get your price quote there and have some fun with that one. And by the way, tell her the Rascals sent you. She ain't going to give you a discount.
No, but it'd be cool. Because we like to be shared.
But can I play this video real quick?
You know what? I think this video will set the stage for.
It's a great intro. I'm stealing this off of Celtic Legacy's YouTube page.
Absolutely. And we love Celtic Legacy, by the way.
There she is. Look at her.
Look at the smolder.
She bringing Hexy back.
The smolder.
Oh, you witches don't know how to act. Look at that. Look at her. Work it. Work it, Lucinda. Work it. Work it. Look at him in the background. He's like, I can match that energy.
He's trying. He can't. Josh just,
she bows down to the butt. Oh my God. That is awesome. That is so awesome.
That sets the stage.
That sets the stage right nicely.
Look.
Followed up with my this is my favorite photo of Lucinda.
Yeah.
That's pretty hexy.
It's I remember when this picture was taken because I was there.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that day.
Because Chad was somewhere off on the side.
Chad.
Everyone loves Chad.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I want to introduce you to our dear friend. This is Kellie. She plays Lucinda at the Colorado Renaissance Festival. She's a hoot, man. So we're going to talk about your character today because I know we've had this conversation. Lucinda is iconic as far as
you say
has grown into an icon. We should say.
I guarantee you, if we took like 20 people and lined them up against a wall and said, "Do you know who Lucinda is?" all of them would say, "Yeah, I know who that is."
Yeah.
I promise you, and I. Put it in the comments if you don't know who she is. And shame on you.
Shame.
I need it. Where's Eric? I need the sign.
We need the shame sign.
Far enough
Right?
out there.
Right? She's gonna watch out. She'll reach into the camera and rip out your heart.
Yeah.
Kalima Shakti De. But so you've been doing this for a while.
I have, but actually, before we get started, I have a surprise for you guys. Lucinda sent me with some gifts.
Oh God!
Oh,
I'm scared.
I know a little bit.
Okay,
Did she put Timmy in a bag?
If it is a child's foot,
I have a Lucinda bag.
Oh my God!
Get out!
She told me that she watches your podcast, and
Oh.
you guys like Scotch eggs.
We do like Scotch
So
eggs.
there you go.
Give me that.
Okay.
Give me that.
If you can't, yeah.
I brought you guys
This
some
is-
Scotch.
So
Scotch
there's
is
Scotch.
eggs.
There's
She does
Scotch
the hair so well.
and a Kinder Egg.
And a Kinder Egg. Oh my God.
Scotch
So,
egg.
yeah, right? Is
Scotch.
that right? Did she get it
Yeah,
right?
you know what?
You know what? I'm not going to argue with her.
In Lucinda's way, she nailed it.
She got this
absolutely nailed that.
on the freaking head, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
And then she has a bone to pick with the Baron because
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
she wants to know about these applications. So she brought you some spaghetti and meatballs. And don't make that your business on what the meatballs are made of.
Oh, that is fantastic.
she's got. Let me have that. I got to. Okay.
Lucinda was under your nose this whole time.
Look, guys.
You were looking for
Yeah,
a Baron.
I know.
What's up with
Look,
that?
it's
Spaghetti.
literally
Timmy balls.
spaghetti.
and spaghetti. Lucinda has now moved to the top of the list.
See, if you would like to be a Baroness of Umbracinia, remember,
Okay.
send a headshot as well as your best spaghetti.
No.
Right.
Applications are closed.
Okay. See, thank you.
Okay, so the funny thing is just before you got here, I said, you know what would be funny? I said if I made Lucinda the Baroness.
Yes.
Yes.
Rob was like, no, that would never work. I don't know if they'd let you. And I said, I don't think let has anything to
She's
do with
vying
it.
for that role.
I said,
So
we're in. And now she sent me
stuff.
spaghetti. So I'm sorry for everyone out there who
There may or may not be photo evidence that this is a match made in hell.
I mean, right there. Look.
I mean, what a cute couple.
That is the beginning of a budding
He,
relationship
he
right
actually made Steve put that on
there.
there.
I did. I was like, that you've got to put that picture on there.
So I mean that's hilarious to me. Like that is, this is how you know when you have somebody that is following your show and
Right?
watching the
Something
silliness.
Yes. that
Now
is
I'm just waiting
fantastic.
for that day when we go to festival and there's like 5 or 6 women that are standing in the front row
Spaghetti.
with spaghetti.
I mean, I'm going to take the spaghetti, but it's not going to get them anywhere.
It'll be even funnier.
I've already been claimed.
It'll be funnier when the Venetian brings a bowl of spaghetti to you.
Yeah, that's it.
I was originally going to do SpaghettiOs, but then ironically, I made spaghetti. I was channeling you. I made
Yeah.
spaghetti last
That's
night, and I'm
awesome.
like,
No, that is so.
Take it.
Please pass along to Lucinda.
That
That
is
heartfelt thank you.
Hilarious.
Her and I
I've
were
got
like
I've got
this.
literal tears coming out of my eyes. Actual tears.
I'm
'cause that
so,
is just
it's so hot in here.
Spaghetti
No,
is
it's
not
funny.
So hot in here right now.
It is so funny to me. It's just hilarious.
Oh.
Guys, this is what we call a long joke.
Yes, this the payoff has been worth it though. The payoff is worth it.
It's too
Dude,
funny.
I can't even believe I just said that earlier too.
Oh my
So
god.
I
great.
would do anything for spaghetti. I'm like,
Maybe we should go to a break.
Yeah, dude, I need a break. I gotta
Oh my
I
goodness.
have to collect myself.
Oh, that's hilarious. So
anyway, what was your question?
So you've been attending Colorado Renaissance Festival for quite a while,
For
though.
a few decades.
A few
Yeah.
decades,
Yeah.
and you started off as a patron.
Yes.
So
And-
do you remember what year you started?
Oh my goodness. So I was like 15. It was probably like 35 to 40 years ago.
Okay.
Because I'm a native of Colorado. My parents took me when I was a teenager. I fell in love with vegetable justice. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
scared and like just in awe at the same time. And so just kind of started hanging, loved it. It was just so fantastic.
Yeah.
So went as a patron for a long time. My best friend, Whenever Darling, and I, of 30 years now, we came as
her.
patrons. Her wedding was like a Renaissance wedding. They were dressed up in costume and stuff. And
Oh,
so
nice.
that was an instant connection.
Yeah.
And so we came out, and then I got divorced, and so there was one summer where I came out looking for a man, and I met one of the pirates and started like this was a number of years ago, 20-some years ago, and then started dating him, and he said, "You need to start wearing some costumes. It's so much more fun."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So
No, absolutely.
Then started coming and building a piece at a time, like the pirate outfit.
Okay.
Very basic.
And some of your pirate gear is like spot on, man. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
good.
now- and it's just collection over the years.
Yeah,
It's just a piece
yeah.
here, a piece there.
Yeah.
And then met the Barbarians, and the Barbarian group used to be out a lot more in full horde.
Okay.
But they make all of their own leather. And
Me too.
Helmets and garb and stuff. And
Me too. I do
so
my
I've
own
always
leather.
Been attracted to like, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
So then got in with the Barbarian horde. And
Picked up leather working.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So I have a couple of the Barbarian outfits.
That's awesome.
I
don't think I've seen those yet.
necklaces is from the Barbarian Horde.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
Lucinda always wears.
Yeah.
The symbol kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, then so that was kind of how it started as a patron. Then I think you guys have discussed it, a patron.
Right.
So then going into when you come dressed in costume.
Yes, and you know that I once again I will say it and I will continue to say it. We have the best theme park in the world because we encourage you to come and play with us.
Very
It's
much.
not a you can come in and just like look at us and go, "Sup, bro." We know you're not down to play. We know you're there to watch like Jacques or Crack or Celtic Legacy. We'll get you eventually. You're gonna come in costume eventually. But right now you're just sup, bro. So then we do this. Sup.
Generally, I just walk right on by.
He does. I give you the
Yeah,
head
don't
nod.
even try.
I'll at least give you the
I got
head nod.
nothing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play with that.
So you've done Patron. Then you also did vendor, though, right?
I did. So, ironically, I'd be out there so much. So, can I say the name of the...
Sure, absolutely.
So, an unofficial shout out to Unicorn Clothing. And they
Oh
have
no,
a few shops out
those
there.
guys are awesome.
Oh no, I like them. Yeah,
Unicorn.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
And so she worked in that. The first one you see is in the Gray Castle. That
Yeah,
house.
the big house.
Queen's Fancy.
Yeah.
Is that shop, and that's
Yeah.
adults and stuff. And
Yeah.
so we I work with her during the day.
Oh, do you?
And so I'm sitting there. She was like by the mailroom, and we had hit it off just in the day in normal clothes. As muggles, if you will.
Yeah.
So then we were talking about what we enjoyed doing. We both said Renaissance Festival. And I asked what she did, and she said the unicorn clothing. And I'm like, Jama? And because when you're out of clothes and out of the context,
people don't see
sometimes-
that. Yeah.
And then I started working for her. So I worked for her in the Great Castle
In the
shop
big shop.
for
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I was asked to audition to be on cast.
And that was 8 years ago.
Yes.
Well,
for
now it would be
Lucinda.
9 because the article was
Because
from
I
last
played
year.
her for 8 years. So.
Yeah. That's and that is just it's kind of neat because you have seen the fair morph and shift into what it is now from so many years ago. I'm not doing math, man.
I know.
My brain's not working. But you've gone and seen all these changes and more stages added and whatnot because it wasn't like that originally.
And to this day, I still hate the stage at the very top of the hill.
Which one, the pirate ship?
Yeah.
Everyone hates
Yeah.
that stage.
Yeah, I actually
That one would change, maybe go down.
last year I made Keith go up there. We went up there one
One
time.
I would do it once a year because the torture
Yeah.
museum is up there too. So
Yes.
I always like to hang out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'll do it one time a year just to say I did it.
Yeah, that's kind of your groove.
I would love to lead a tour with teenagers and children. This is what you get if you don't do your chores.
Through the torture museum.
Yes. That would be. I don't know if I'd be able to get away with that.
Probably not.
But
say no.
it might be worth it though.
It could be.
I could
You
take
never know.
the butt chewing.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I don't speak English. Talk to this
there
guy.
you go.
Yeah, that's true. So then now with the vendor thing, you obviously got to know cast members and all that because she does help the cast out with
She does.
With-
yeah.
yes, she does.
If you're on cast.
yeah.
Yes.
and that is such. When I first heard that, I was like, man, that is so cool that someone does that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's just
not all
unfortunate. None of my gear matches what
I
she
know.
has.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at
Doesn't
all.
But it's a lot of the peasant shirts, men and women.
Yes.
And so she'll do kind of like a layaway because
Yeah.
you kind of want day one, you want to have something, you need
Right.
to have something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you put something down, and most times it doesn't matter how much, she'll help out cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you're there the run of it, and
Hopefully.
yeah. I'm sure she's gotten burned maybe a couple times, but she's very
probably.
sweet about
No,
doing
she's
that, so.
she's awesome. She
Yeah.
she even helped me out because I went in there with while I was on shift, and it was that day that it freaking rained, and it was like really cold last year, and so my lovely wife and the little one did not have the layers that I had on, so they were like they were freezing. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, I want to get these two pieces. And she goes, yeah, just make sure that you tell and I said, but they're not for me. They're for my daughter and for my wife. And she goes, but your daughter's played here. And I'm like, yeah, but she's not on cast. And she goes, it's okay. And I thought that was the sweetest thing in the world. And I was
Yeah.
She's
like,
amazing.
I really want to do something more for you. And she's like, no, I'm not taking it. I'm like, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And she was mad when I auditioned because then, of course, I got it and I had to leave. So
Then you
she
had,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That's where Keith and I have devised this goofy little thing of we're gonna stop in front of shops and we're gonna hawk their wares because that is hilarious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is-
and why wouldn't we?
It's funny because you've got you can picture this. There's an English baron and a little Chinese dude that are out there selling stuff.
Just yelling at you for no reason.
That's what I like to do is Lucinda going through her shop. as soon as I walk in the door, I scream out, and I'm like, "Do you have something pretty I could wear? I think we look pretty." And everyone in the shop is like, "What is that?"
Oh, that is
And I'll just
awesome.
keep walking.
It's a drive by,
Yes.
just a quick in and out, and that's that. I am a big fan of those quick encounters because
Yeah.
you're as a cast member, you're leaving an impact on a family that you really didn't expend a lot of energy. You're not distracting them from what they're
Right,
doing.
right, yeah.
You know, so it's a win-win. You get a good time, they get a good time, everybody's happy.
Exactly.
And sometimes we help make a sale.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
No, well, last year I got that guy to buy a mug.
that
was
is
pretty good.
true. That
He
is
was- we're standing down by the joust field, the mugs,
yeah. The
And
wooden
so
mugs.
We were talking to the guy, and I saw this guy walking.
he
had a-
grabbed this dude out of the freaking crowd. It was great.
he had a Pepsi cup, and I was like,
Oh.
you know what would make that Pepsi taste a lot better? One of these mugs, and I just grab him and pull him over, and he actually bought a
Got
mug.
it. Oh, that's
So-
fantastic.
It was
And these
hilarious.
guys were looking at me like, what the
His girl, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife, but she looked at Keith like, "The hell are you doing?" Making sales, lady.
There you go.
Step aside.
Hard sales. We're doing it.
Step aside.
Absolutely.
Watch the master's work. So
So vendor, and then now you're on cast.
Now Lucinda.
And so
That
what
was-
what was your initial role on cast?
So it was Lucinda.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. So the year before, I had been told by a number of cast members. I've known them for a number of years before.
Right.
Just the amount of times I've been out there. We made friends with a lot of them. And so I was asked to audition for it. And so I had, back in the day, it was kind of like a voodoo witch pirate outfit as well. With
Okay.
a huge headdress that I
Wow.
had gotten out there.
I would not want to wear that.
I wore that to audition, thinking, okay, you want to come in costume.
Sure.
Right, right.
Sure.
So, okay, and then I had a couple talks too about, because I had that voodoo or witchy kind of thing in mind.
Yeah.
And of course, I was given the advice like, don't go with a particular character,
Right.
Because they're just looking to fill stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I was nervous as all get out, and I had been going for 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a natural in a costume and going out playing.
Right.
But to audition, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And-
Now everybody's actually looking at you and
Yeah.
critiquing you.
No, it's real.
And it was like Professor and our King and Queen, you know, so it's very intimidating
Oh, yeah.
walking in. And so at one point they said, we like your, we like the idea, we like the energy, but just maybe the outfit, take off everything that's Caribbean and pirate. And I was like, so when did you
So-
So
What am I supposed to wear?
You're like, great. So I got socks. Like,
right. And I've
I got
always
socks.
been more-
I got socks and a frog.
this is gonna
What can I
be
do with
this is gonna be awkward.
I thought you said this was a family-friendly show.
Right. So then they proposed. They're like, okay, well, we like the idea of a herbalist. And I've always been, as far as characters, more the villain.
Right,
Darker,
Sure.
My edge is always. I'm not a princess, so I was never going to apply for any of those roles. And
I would pay good money to see that for a day.
Well, I do have a masquerade ball that I do formal garb in that,
But that's more of a lady. You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
the
it's not
hoity-toity
fair.
princess.
No. So, so they're trying to talk to me, and they're like, "Yeah, make it really colorful and kid-friendly." I'm seeing like flowers in your hair, and the whole time she's explaining it to me, I'm just kind of like, "I think we have different ideas of a witch." Like,
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You were supposed to be Glenda. Glenda the Good Witch is the vibe that I'm getting
Yeah.
off of that
Yeah.
description.
Exactly.
So I'm having to wrap my brain around it with still trying to keep it me. And
Yeah.
so originally, now a long time ago, I had long brown hair. So I just kind of messed it up and ratted it. Oh, yeah, see in that one. That's the second Lucinda. So it's been a process. Because my very first Lucinda, I got that green Renaissance dress you see on Amazon that
Right.
500 women out there are wearing. And so that was Lucinda's first dress. And then I'm walking down in Littleton. I'm walking down Bowles, and I'm like, I want a walking stick. I'm all about the props.
Yeah.
And there was a winter storm, so I'm walking down Kipling, like hauling 2 sticks, like which one will work, And so I put like twigs in my hair and just kind of some gray hairspray and blacked out my teeth a little bit and kind of headed out. A lot of it was on the stick.
Okay.
Because I'm like, how can I draw kids in?
Right,
because
right.
that's our number one.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
entertaining them. And so I had a little cage, thrift store. I'm a huge fan of there all the time. And they had like a little cage, so I had dragon eggs in there and a dragon. And again, even my walking stick has just been piece after piece, adding to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what would a witch have? So I had crystals hanging down, just things that kids would find entertaining to come up.
Right.
The shiny crap that like a parrot would go, oh.
Yeah. I have an owl that sits
exactly.
in there that was just kind of like from a costume store.
The shoe is my favorite. Is my favorite addition.
And that was recent. That wasn't right out of the gate either, So, and then I have a toad that hangs off my back.
Yep.
And it hangs on the butt.
What we need to do is we need to get plans for a toad purse for you, like that.
Well,
then
it's a coin purse.
Oh, is it?
It is actually, and they used to sell them at fair. And then I think I checked this past year.
I didn't see him this year.
It was where those tails are.
The Wild Hunt
by the wood, like crossbows.
Yeah.
And stuff that upper route, But so I think last
was
year,
that is that near the area that we married you to the monk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly right there.
That was a great skit, and I thought that was a fun time that we had
fun,
there.
yeah.
It was spontaneous. It was great. It to me that embodied everything that we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Like what they
That's
teach
good
you.
improv.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
You
great.
don't know what's coming.
No, especially when the monk took his ring off.
I was even shocked. I'm like,
Like, wow.
You were shocked. His wife was like, "What the hell?"
We took a right turn on that one kind of quick.
Oh, it was great
I
though.
wore her for 3 years. And then I remember going to Eric just saying, I found this fantastic accordion witch's hat from Ukraine.
Okay.
And I'm like, I kind of want to be a pretty witch, kind of thing to mix it up. And he's like, okay. And then, so that one, that was 1 year. And I hated it. Because then I was like, okay, I feel like Kellie with a witch's hat. Like this.
Yeah.
This,
It wasn't
I tried
the
it,
yeah.
It failed.
Yeah.
So then Eric and I are sitting at a drag show because we both wanted to go watch it. And Katya is actually like a famous drag queen who was in Denver. So we went to go see that. She's got a Russian accent, and I'm half Ukrainian. And so as she's kind of doing the comedy and stuff, I instantly thought of Baba Yaga. And then I could go into like a Russian accent kind of thing.
Right.
And she was hilarious. And so I was just kind of like, Eric? I said, I don't think I want to do the young
pretty,
Lucinda, the nice one. I'm like, that's just not fun at all for me. And he's like, yeah, I kind of went a different direction. And he goes, but you said you wanted to try it, so we just let it go. And then I came back that next year then with the Lucinda that we know now. So that was a lot more inspired by Baba Yaga.
Okay.
Well, you brought her up, so we're going to talk about her. 'Cause,
There you go.
That is the origin where it hangs on. Because, every good character should have a point of origin. Now, personally, I like to have a historical tie. Because it makes it a lot easier. You're not, as somebody that writes, you don't have to create this whole fantastical story. Like, okay, where am I from? Like, take a inspiration from a historical person, and then change it so that you're there. Like Yen Shang is the nephew of Wang Ji, who is the grandfather or godfather of firearms in the East, because he brokered trade between the Portuguese and the Tokugawa that are in Japan. So that's where I got my roots from. You went more into the fantastical portion of it, which I absolutely love, because folklore is so beautiful, and you can learn a lot of lessons from it. For example, Baba Yaga. Don't leave your kids unattended. They'll get eaten.
Look at her. She's beautiful.
But it's something, prepping for the show, something I did not realize is that there's this dichotomy of the character where she's this malevolent creature, but at the other point, she's this helpful creature. But it's also said that there's actually 3 sisters that live in the chicken house. with her. Like she's just one of them, but it doesn't really say which one's which. It's kind of like the Fates, if you would, from Greek and Roman mythologies.
Right.
So they all kind of share the eyeball.
Yeah.
So it just happens to be that Lucinda keeps the eyeball and the toad.
In my pocket.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that is a if you're looking to create your character, whether you're a new cast member or you're just kind of getting ready for your auditions, this is a great source. Find something or someone that sticks out to you. I mean, obviously, the character of Baba Yaga kind of like this is gonna sound bad when I say it, but dude, that's it. You fit that bill like
I know.
spot on.
Yeah.
It 100%. It makes sense.
So that's a couple things of my point too, and like when we go and talk to new cast members too, our King David, he will say in rehearsals a lot of times too, it takes 3 years. So like when you're brand new cast,
You have no idea.
100% you're nervous. Second year you're nervous, and any new character even too.
Right.
So the look now was the third look and my absolute favorite. And when I kind of brought her together, I was like, I told her, I'm like, I'm not changing this at all. Like, nailed it now.
No.
Like, this is 100%.
That character suits you.
Yeah.
Like,
so
it fits.
Yes.
I could honestly, like, I know you and I last year, when we were in the campgrounds, we talked about other things, and you told me, you do all these other characters and whatnot. And it just, to me, it was like, okay, so it's Lucinda wearing a pirate hat. It's Lucinda in in a dress. Like that's to me that's the only way that I see you. But I know that while the character does bleed into real life a little bit, it's not really.
Oh, she's never far.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, it's you still have that fun-loving, mischievous, magic behind you that's there, but to me, I could not see you playing any other character unless there's roots that are tied to it. I know you've played Ursula. There's actually photos of you as Ursula, and I was like, dude, I want to see that because that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling Keith, I was like, I would love to go and hang out with cast members at other venues just to see what they're like outside doing different characters. Now, I have not changed from doing Yen Shang at different Renaissance festivals. That's my guy. That is my guy because I'm tweaking him. I'm trying to find the speech patterns and everything because I don't want to do the thick drawn out accent because then it turns into how you doing like no we're not trying to make
we're not going there.
No. So Keith told me, he was like what do you think of like David Carradine in The Legend,
the kung fu
the Legend, and I was like, yeah, okay. And he said, slow down your speech pattern because you are a manic bastard when you are talking. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I really am.
Yeah, slow it down, more methodical.
Yeah. Don't use contractions.
You're picking your words, that kind of thing. Even the guy who played the lead in Warrior.
Oh, yes. Yes. His speech patterns, it's very... The staccato is not the right word, but he's very... measured in his tone.
Yeah.
There is no use of contractions. It is I am, not I'm.
Yeah.
So
taught that in rehearsals.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to go for.
I still fall into the contraction trap. I do it all the time. I can't help it. It's like but when
natural.
I do it, I can hear the voice in the back of my head go, you just did it.
So I've actually figured out a cheat around that, especially for English characters and English, Scottish, Irish characters. Just don't say the T.
Oh, yeah.
Don't.
I've heard that, yeah.
Don't go that way, but you got to watch it because, sometimes you'll slip into that Spaniard thing.
Yeah.
So but moving into this coming year, trying to get my character dialed in, it's fun because now we're looking at the end. Then I want to add more to the character, but I still need to remember the grassroots of the character and try to get back to it.
It's a fun process.
It is.
Lucinda's voice.
How did that come about? Because I was gonna
Like,
I was just screaming.
like you were like, "Hello, I'm Lucinda. Nice to meet you."
I was thinking old hag. How
Is your
would she
name
talk?
Timmy?
I know.
I just picture it. Some
Yeah.
kid walked by and she's just like, "What are you doing?"
Well, and our queen had asked in rehearsal. She's like, "I want you to kind of talk about instructing people with their voices and warming up and everything, because
Yeah.
a lot of singers will do that. I'm not a singer, but she's like, would you mind doing something with the cast that kind of explains the process you go through?" And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I know.
She's like, that's not normal, right? And she's like, is your throat killing you at the other day? And I'm like, no. She's like, and you just go in and out? And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I can. She's like, that's not normal.
It's
And
really not.
The only time it's ever hurt was when we've had bad fires, and so it's smoky.
Oh, yeah.
So to talk like that, it'll be scratchy at the end of the day, but I don't know why. I don't know how, and sometimes for the morning gate show, I do have to slow it down because it's so raspy and screech, that
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, okay, can't fully understand everything.
You
so
have
then I
to
gotta slow it down.
enunciate.
Yeah.
Articulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Articulate.
But then once I'm inside the gates, it's just on. It's on.
Oh, we've seen you.
Oh, it's hilarious because I watch you and then I'll think about myself or I'll see somebody else and it's like, that is a whole different accent that you really can't teach somebody other than I need you to scream and raise your voice like 5-6 octaves.
Yeah.
And then there's Lucinda.
And it just evolved. It just came out of my mouth. There was no practice.
I usually get in trouble when that happens to me.
As many of our things do, they just come out of our mouth, and we're like, "Hey, there we are."
And I would say too,
Well, we're fired.
That character just for me is so much fun.
Yeah.
So that way, pick a character that you just find so much fun that whether people are watching you or not, which they will always be watching, but you don't know who is.
Yeah.
Of just having fun with it. So that was the beauty, sometimes of her, of just, I remember right after Canon, I'll wait a while inside. We wait.
Right.
And
I was
when
standing
it's
next
time
to you
go,
for most of
yeah.
that last year.
And I'll go straight up, and Celtic Legacy is playing now. And then there was one day where I think I was just, I don't know if I was just tired or something, and I'm you have a lot of internal talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on, Gabe,
Yeah.
on now.
You're out there.
And
You're
so
on stage. Yeah.
Okay, what do I do? And then I just kind of started dancing. And I went straight up the hill, and I would stop and just dance in the weirdest, most obnoxious way that Lucinda would dance and find sexy. And
What she thinks everybody else finds sexy. That's
Right.
That's the bad
100%.
part.
Which is generally completely different
And
than
that was, yeah.
I will say, last year we did we had the dating game thing at Closing Gate, and I think my favorite was when you got picked and went up, and then you and Matt came back down.
Yeah.
And he was running away, and then when they flipped the script.
Yes.
And it was the other way around. I thought that was cute, and I was like, "That's funny." Now, wait, Lucinda, come back! And I'm like, "Wow."
I know. And then we kind of talked about it a little bit behind, and then I was like, because we kind of choreographed that we would both stop, and I would turn around, and I'm like, and I'd be like, "No, you smell like sausage."
That's awesome.
It's just so much fun, and that makes a character too, of just whatever you end up in, have fun with yourself.
Yeah.
Because then that will come
Don't be
through.
afraid to have the fun.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I did get yelled at last year because, and I think I told you about it. I got yelled at for feeding Lucinda lines. I was told stop feeding Lucinda. She doesn't need your help. And I'm like, it's funny though.
There's so many.
I mean,
an endless pun supply.
Yeah.
The greatest
You
was
always got to have new material.
no. I mean, the funniest one was when they had the guy had the 3 kids in the wagon. I said, Lucinda, look, it's Meals on Wheels.
I used that so many times last year, too.
Oh, and it's so great. Or the kid that came in, remember the kid that came in was crying. Like, dude, the gate just opened. You haven't had time to find a reason to be mad. But this kid is just bawling. And I said, look, Lucinda, it's an unhappy meal. The parents were dying. The kid just looked at me like, and I'm like, what? She said it, not me.
Yeah.
It was all
with
her.
the like the front packs or something.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, it's a snack wrap. Yeah, I got some great new material.
Yeah.
Standing next to you
Yeah.
last year, so that was
Well, and
fantastic.
then I've got the little one that she says, you know, what's Lucinda's favorite candy?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly did. Susan told me don't feed her lines. She doesn't need your help.
She does not need our encouragement.
I'm like,
It's
that's
perfect.
it. But dude, it's funny. Like if I see something, I'm gonna help. Like that just makes
Absolutely.
you know. I was a new guy. I was trying to make friends. Leave me alone.
Well, and that's what's turned into like a trailer full of props too, because over the years, even I'm just like, oh my god, that would be hilarious, and then I bring something else in, and something else, and something else, and I'm like, good lord, it's out of control.
Well, speaking of out of control props, we went to Keith and I were walking around at the Colorado Springs Oddity and Bazaar, and we came across these things are awesome, but I can't see myself separating for that much money for a joke. They had these stuffed taxidermy foxes.
Yeah.
And the first one that I saw, its name was Otto. So I thought, oh, that would be great. That would be great. I could mess with Otto, the Prince of Germany. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Then she had one that was back there, and it was called Timmy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh,
oh my
Timmy.
God, that would be... But and then I looked at the
Lord
price
Timmy.
tag, and I looked at her, and I was like, I have to walk away. She's like, no, you should put it on. I said, no, I should
No.
not. I will end up divorced because of that.
That's an
Right.
expensive joke.
Well, when I went to Arizona, I saw it was like a what is that, paper mache, the characters.
Yes.
So that booth out there,
Like
is
the
not
puppets?
in Colorado. Yeah, and it was like this troll, like centaur.
Oh, I remember seeing that booth. Yeah.
And it said, normally you see a sign at restaurants that say "Kids eat free."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was holding a sign that said "Eat kids free," and so I was like, oh, "Okay, well, I need that." And then when you're talking about other festivals, this guy came up and he's like, "You're Lucinda, right?" And I'm like, "I am." And they're like, "Okay, we'll give you a discount on that." And I was like, "Okay."
That's crazy.
So how many festivals has Lucinda been to?
Not a ton, but I've been to TRF a couple times.
Okay.
Love it. In fact, I remember the first time going because Colorado's my home fair, obviously. Right. And then I was like, oh, I could run. Like, it's so flat.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, but I could run if I wanted to. And then I remember asking directions our first time, too, and someone's like, yeah, right up that hill. And I turn around and I'm like,
That's a hill?
what
hill?
What hill are you referring to?
We had the same experience when we went to Arizona.
Yeah. I was like,
Because it's so flat, and I mean their lanes are so wide.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to find we were hunting down crack. We were trying to find the crack show.
Yes.
the crack show, not
And-
crack.
Yeah, right.
And believe me, there was plenty of that laying around too.
Yeah, we could have found either one.
Oh wait, no, you're not the illicit substance. I'm talking about like the plumbers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there was plenty
there's
of plenty of that.
But
Oh.
we're
Whatever kind of
running
crack
You and I were on a different page.
we're running around out there, and
Need a
so
little pick me up, you know.
Yeah.
Keith has a tendency of walking. Like I'm gonna put him on a leash this year.
Oh, I've called a pinball, especially like before I was on cast and everything, between the pirate area, the barbarian area, and I'll just be sitting there on my squirrel, and Becky will call me a pinball. You know, like, okay, where did the pinball go?
That's him! That's
Bing,
him!
Bing, bing, bing,
I just
bing.
yeah.
That's him.
I wonder.
Yeah.
But I stopped and I asked one of the shopkeepers. I'm like, hey, do you know where the crack show is? He says, yeah, it's up the hill. And I'm like,
What the fuck are you talking about?
what hill is he talking about? And then I come running up, and then there's Keith, and he goes, hey, I found him. I'm like, did you know they called this a hill?
Well, what's funny?
What the 1% incline? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was horrible.
Exactly.
And it's a very long, gradual incline. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
For people that are from Colorado, we're like,
Yeah.
that's not a hill.
My legs were so tired.
When we went to Arizona, it was with a group of cast members.
Okay.
And so we were all headed towards the joust, and so Crack was playing right
Yeah.
next to the
Yes,
joust.
they were there. They were there this
And
year too.
So we were going up there, and they all went to go find seats at the joust, and I stood in the lane. And I will also, for Crack, I've been known to go up on their stage, just like Celtic Legacy too,
Right.
with permission.
Yes.
With permission.
Yes.
You know, so. And so I was kind of standing there, and our group had sat down at the jousting, and then they hear Crack going, "Hey everyone, we've got a guest here, Lucinda from Colorado." And apparently everyone sitting is like, of course she's getting pulled up on stage. So I was late because they turned around and they were like, "Where did she go?" And then I'm up on stage.
And then they hear it.
You have to entertain your fans.
I do.
I mean,
you know,
even though
me.
they didn't know they were your fans
Right.
at that time, they became your fans.
And none of them were shocked by that. They're like, "Of course
No,
she
yeah.
is." So.
Which I mean, you know, last year when I at one of the few rehearsals that I was actually at, Christy was giving her speech about warming up your voice and everything like that, and I was like, okay, cool. I actually used to teach that. Like I recognize what she's talking about. I'm good. And then I had no idea who you were because I hadn't met you
Right.
I think I met you as Kellie, but I didn't
was
know.
saying, in rehearsals, you don't know what I look like. In
Right.
final dress rehearsals.
Right. And I wasn't there at final dress rehearsals because I was in Vegas. So nobody knew what I looked like, but more importantly, I had no idea who anybody was character-wise. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going in this cold. I have no idea what the hell's going to happen. But, our queen says, this is what I recommend you guys do to warm up your voices. Don't do what Lucinda does because that's a whole thing on its own.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who the hell is Lucinda?
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, because as a patron, I remember the witch. I didn't know the name because I was not a patron until 2022.
Okay.
And 2022, I was a patron, but I only messed with two people. And I messed with the right two people.
Ones, yeah.
Because they remembered me, and I was like, oh, cool. This is great.
Yeah.
I got invited to come and audition. Shit, I don't think I'm ready for this.
I've been going for 20 years, and costumes was my thing.
Yeah.
My first day of audition, I was stupid scared and nervous.
Oh, dude, I had no idea. Like, I didn't know, like, that it said a comedic monologue, and I'm like, okay, is this supposed to be something I make up?
Yeah.
Is this something that I'm supposed to memorize? What the hell are we going for here? And I'm like, I don't want to ask the casting director because I think that's a dumb question.
No.
But this is my head, my over analytical brain that's like, they expect you to be an actor. You should know better. And I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah.
I had Professor in mind.
Yeah.
And so we did, some improv like trials and
Right.
everything. And then at one point he did say, he goes, okay, normally we like to have the character go like to the front door, like way outside. And I think the auditions were in a different place back when I did it. But they had you go like towards the front door so they could hear your projection to see if you could project.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, but we're not going to need you to do that.
we
So
think
I'm
you got
good,
this.
I'm good.
Yeah, and when I went through my audition, I didn't have to do I guess because I'm a loud guy. I am not very quiet.
Right. So
I mean, if I want to be heard, you're going to hear me. But if I don't want you to hear me or see me, guess what? You ain't going to find me. I mean, Adam Bell and Morrow, they were like, dude, you just kind of pop up wherever. Like, I will go, there he is. Like, I don't even finish it, and there, poof, there's Rob. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm the best tree in the world, man. I just kind of fit in the background.
Yeah, no, that was the same. So when my first rehearsal, and I was with John Hockley.
Yes,
And
yes,
so
my Rockley.
he's I know, love that guy.
Well, he
So-
would help me up all the time, so I'm like, John, you're my rock. And then it went into my.
I'm sorry. I thought you said broccoli. I was like,
no,
what?
No. So he was he's like, oh, this is so and so and so and so and so and so. So he's kind of pointing people out. And he goes, that's Lucinda, and I'm like, who? Well, Kellie, that's Lucinda. Bullshit. No, that's not. No. I'm like, no, seriously? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, and I'm trying to picture it. And I'm like, I can't. There's no. And then,
my favorite.
And then you started saying something, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, there it is. Yeah. All right.
So I get that a lot too, and that is my absolute favorite, to watch people's faces. Because in fact,
Do you get recognized out like in real life?
No,
Never.
No, not at all. In fact, a few weeks ago, we had there was a party with the pirates and stuff.
Okay.
At someone's house, and so I went there, and I've known a lot of the pirates for a long time, so they know who I am in
Right.
and out of costume and stuff too. So go there.
The ones that know.
Exactly. And then there is one guy that walks in, and he will walk in every single day of fair and come up and give me a big hug, kiss me on the cheek, and then go about his business when I come to the Irish pub.
I see where this is going.
And so I'm sitting there and probably looking like this, and
Yeah.
at the house and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he comes in and is giving everyone a hug, passes me, and then gives a couple more people a hug, and is standing right here.
Tell
And I
me
looked at
Lucinda
Becky.
came out and yelled at him.
Well, I was like, Becky, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. She's like, what? I said, he hugged everyone. He hugs me every morning at fair. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so she scolded him. She's like, I can't believe you wouldn't even address Lucinda. And he's like, what? And she goes, you didn't want to give Lucinda a hug? And he looks at me and he's like, no. I'm like, yeah! He's like, shut up.
That's awesome.
Or I've been sitting just like out to dinner, or sitting at a bar with some friends on
Right.
a Friday night or something like that. And then we get to talking with people, and Renaissance will come up, and everything. And I'm like, oh, do you go? And they're like, oh, yeah. And I told this one guy that I was Lucinda Jinx. And again, they were just they're in
No,
shock.
there's no way.
And he's like, oh my God, like you're my favorite character. And he's like, we get a picture with you every year. And he's pulling up an album of me and him over the summer.
He's got a favorites album, and it's just
Right.
Lucinda.
It's just her.
It's like an unhealthy Lucinda obsession.
Yeah. She's like, wait, I don't remember posing for that one.
That's AI.
That's
AI.
Right.
That's not
Right.
me. No.
This is
no, that
photoshopped.
me.
Yeah, that could be me.
It's funny though, because we've had and we really started this whole thing off on targeting and trying to get character spotlights on what we called the top four. Like the top four are the people from last year that every single person knows who they are. Like you could say, have you met Chester?
Right.
Everybody knows who he
100%,
is,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Have you ever met Super Dippin' Dots? Everybody knows who she is. You know that I stole that from him.
Yeah, that's totally my name for her.
Now those two actually were my idols. And the
love-
fact
yeah.
that I get to do parapet with them.
Oh, dude,
just
there's
Oh, yeah.
there's a picture up here
Yep,
that's
yep.
got that on there. But so and you got those and Royston. Royston is the other one that everybody know. You know who the
Yeah.
giggling
Yeah.
fiddler is. And then from last year, because of the nature of the character, Flim Flam,
Yeah.
Nick.
Love him.
Like, so, and I gave him a bit, because I like to feed people things that if it makes sense, it makes sense. I told him, I was like, dude, this is what you need to do this year. You need to get permission to do this, but I will buy you a canvas tarp. We'll beat the crap out of this thing, make it look just weathered and all kinds of craziness. I said, you need to become the unofficial mascot of trinket trading at the festival.
Oh, yeah.
I said, what you
Yeah.
do is you go somewhere and set up in a back alley, like at an entryway.
Yeah.
Because that's the bit for the character. I said, and what you do is you have it timed out so that the sheriff comes walking by and you just grab the four corners, or we rig it so that you pull a cord and
Yeah.
it just kind of grabs everything up, and then you just take off.
Yeah.
And he goes, I really like that.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm gonna use that. And then who were we talking to? Oh, we were talking to Micah. And Micah's like, I got the perfect place for that. And I was like, I think I know where you're gonna talk about. And he goes, do you? I'm like, yeah, the improv stage. And he goes, that's exactly where I was thinking. And I was like,
when they're doing that.
that is
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
during a break.
When it's not in use.
Yeah.
When it's not in use, he sets up and just I told him, I was like, don't even try to arrange things nicely. Just throw the crap out there.
Well, last summer he came up to me too and gave me a skull mug.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I mean, it is just kind of like a mug, but it's like a 3D printed skull.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he had started out with like a paper clip or something, or I don't know, something small, and ended up getting this.
I heard this
He's
story.
Like, you are the person I thought of, and I'm like, I was so grateful because I'm like, why would you not keep that? Like, this thing is completely amazing.
Oh yeah.
You know. And so I'm like coloring it and like with tea kind of thing. Like, I want to make it more realistic. Like, that was the base that he had given me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just going to say, it seems like the size of skull that Timmy would have. And he's like, so I thought of you immediately and gave it to you. And he just gave it to me. And it was in trading. And I'm like, oh, I freaking love you. Thank you. For this.
He started off.
My favorite.
He started off with a piece of thread. One of his waxless
like
candles.
Small,
Dripless candle.
Yeah, and that's where it started off, was that, and then he went and was just and ended up with that mug, and he told me about that. I was like, that is so funny, dude.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and ironically, it was my birthday weekend too, so I was just like, oh, I'll take it, thank you.
I mean, it's, but like I said, you know, we're trying to. Somebody complained. This was in our comments. This was probably, I think, what was it, episode 3 or 4? Somebody had made comment like, you guys talk about all of these characters, but we as the audience don't know who they are. And I was like, you know what? That's a very legitimate complaint.
Yeah, that's kind of what led to us, you know, going, all right, who do we need to have on?
Yeah.
And that's what we came up with. Well, the big three, you know, which was you, Micah, and
Royston.
And Royston.
And then we grabbed Nick because he was the fresh blood from last year.
Yeah, and then we thought, well, who made the biggest impact? It had to be Nick.
Yeah.
You know, so and then next year, you know, we're going to get, you know, more people and kind of do spotlights on.
Say episode 3, they could have cut you a little slack.
Yeah, no, well, we got no slack. It's like we know you just started, but you guys suck.
Right,
I think it's the way that we sound, because we both sound like we're like radio guys.
Yeah.
I was on the radio. I was telling Keith, you know, years ago. I was a local celebrity in Korea.
Oh, how cool.
I had the afternoon radio show.
Yeah.
And it was my station and one other station were the only 2 English-speaking stations in South Korea.
Oh my gosh.
It was really weird because, you know, you get this. I'm pretty sure that if you walked around and did the Lucinda voice at like Elitch's, everybody would be like, "Oh my God, there's Lucinda." Well, all I had to do was like talk.
Yeah.
And I've been approached in the weirdest of places, like, "Oh my God, are you Rob?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
So funny.
You know we're in the men's room, right? You know I'm standing in front of the urinal.
There are pros and cons to
Yeah,
that.
no,
Yeah.
it's 100%, dude.
Can I finish?
Right.
We're not shaking hands
Yeah,
right
no,
now. That's what you're
no,
saying.
no. As a matter of fact, we're not even making eye contact. Keep your eyes on your own work there, bud.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean,
divider.
Keith and I sound, because of what we do, and we've been accused of editing.
Yeah.
People have told us that your
Editing
guys.
your voice?
Well,
No,
the
they
takes,
think we edit our show.
they think that we break this down into takes, and I'm like, no, dude, that is one long. We hit record, and what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's part of the magic.
as you can tell
I was
now.
gonna say, you guys had me show up.
Yeah.
Very brave.
Well, we had the edit button ready.
Yeah,
we had the
no,
edit button ready.
I
A 30-second delay.
Oh, there she goes again, too.
Yeah.
there was supposed to be a censor button on here, but Steve kind of dropped the
Steve.
ball.
Yeah. We thought, wow, you know, if Kelly goes off the rails, we're gonna have like a 4-minute show.
It's just going to be a 4 minutes of beep.
Hi, this is Kelly. Hey guys, this is Kelly. Hey, thanks for coming in. All right, guys, that was our show. I'm glad you guys tuned in. That was great. Well, this is a bad idea.
That was a bad idea.
But it's
Who writes this stuff?
It's funny because you know, we talk about our show, the podcast actually does center around like building the roles and trying to make them work. You know, Keith and I have these really weird characters that are diametrically opposed. You know, like there is no logical reason for a little Chinese trader to be hanging out with an English baron.
No, but we make it work.
But we do make it work, and he had come up with a storyline for it, and now it's up on our website because we actually have an official website.
I know, and I owe you things for that too.
Yes, because
I
can't unveil that, and Keith keeps on yelling at me for it. He's like, "Where's the honorary rascals?" And I'm like, "I can't put it up there. It looks really stupid right now. It's got like 2 different freaking bios. The rest of it's blank."
Yeah,
I owe you that.
And he says, "Well, just put it up there, and maybe we'll shame them into it." And I'm like,
do it.
You know what? I'm just gonna take a picture of our headsman with his
Shame.
I'm gonna put a picture of Eric with his little sign that says "shame" under everyone that doesn't have a bio.
Exactly.
That'll be the hey.
That's fair.
You're going to do it.
You're gonna do it. Otherwise, this is gonna stay here because this is funny. But it's funny because when I first met Keith, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I literally showed up.
He had no clue.
I had no clue. I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now. And he's like, "Hey, new guy, come here. And he looks at me, he goes, I saw on the sheet you're supposed to be a pirate. You don't look like a pirate. And I'm like, well, it depends on what part of the world you're looking from. Yeah. And he goes, that's a fair point. Come with me. You won't die. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I will keep you alive.
It was like a Sarah Connor moment. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, really, that's kind of how it worked, And so it was like, because he was just kind of walking around, and I'm like, he just looked lost,
right.
And I was like,
I was so, not only was I lost, I was stressed out.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I had no idea because I was like, okay, cool. I got my tent set up. I'm set up there. I'm good there. I got a place to stay. I know where there's food. I know where there's water. I'm good. Now, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? They hired me to do something.
Well, he was doing a lot of what I think we all did on our first day is tried to cover as much of the fair. And we we circle and circle and circle and circle, and we don't stop. And I could see it in his face like, dude, come here.
So I 100% did that, and in fact, I'm part of like Dr. John's what to do
Right?
in rehearsals.
Right?
Because the same thing. Day one, I was like, okay, drink water, and then I tell people in rehearsals, mind you, I've been coming for many, many years.
Yeah.
And water was not always my top choice for drinking.
No, absolutely not.
When
not
I'm
as
playing,
a patron.
Right? When I'm playing. So I'm like, and I've managed to survive all of those. So,
right.
But I'm like, okay, I'm dead serious. Day one on cast, drink all the water. But again, I felt guilty taking any kind of a break.
Yeah.
And I was
the
whole thing. And
that was me.
That was him.
That was me.
Well, and Dr. John knows me for many years before, and he's like, "You can be okay. You can be." I'm like, "I got this. I got this." I'm like, "I've been coming out for decades, and everything." He's like, "Okay." And then, I was a patron and in the shop, and then pirate barbarian, and all this. I'm like, come on, this is not my first.
Yeah, this is cake, man.
Day one, he's like, okay, I thought I was gonna die, and I'm like, that night, I was like, I'm gonna quit. That was not what I was expecting,
Yeah.
So Sunday morning, I did show up again, and Dr. John is like, how are you doing? And I'm like, not good. Not good at all. He's like, I knew that was coming. He goes, you kept saying, I got this. And in my mind, I'm like, you don't got this. And I didn't. So that whole shade hopping, and take the breaks, and it's stupid important because, you especially, and the intent is to be a really good character.
Right. You want to make your mark.
Yeah.
Like you want to stand out. And this is the novelty that was Yen Sheng last year was I really didn't have to do anything other than walk around because much like Lucinda, dude, I look different. I stand out. Like it is completely weird that, hey, look, there's a little Chinese dude. I mean, like, what's going on here? Like, why is he here in the Renaissance? Well,
I belong here.
Yeah, I'm here to serve, like trading, and got to keep this idiot alive so I can keep trading.
Somebody's got to,
right? But it's funny because we always warn about like Don't try to do everything at once.
Yeah, I 100% back that up as a veteran cast member now. 100% back that.
I can actually say I'm a veteran now. That's
Yeah.
kind of
You
crazy,
can.
dude.
You can. Yeah, no. So it was funny. So I kind of showed him around.
He showed me all the good spots.
as John had
Yes,
shown me
yes.
my first year. So it was all right. This is what we're gonna never go anywhere without water.
Right.
Wherever you're going to go to water.
Yeah, and I have
You know,
that
make your
obnoxious
ending
gourd.
point water.
With water. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that obnoxious gourd that I carry around, which I'm still, even though I got this really badass mug, I'm still going to carry the gourd.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Because
you have to have a backup.
it's not just for me. I mean, like last year, there was a couple of incidents that happened at opening ceremony before you came out. There was a couple of people that passed out. Well,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is the beauty of the.
Then I turned around to get up onto the platform and you're gone.
I was gone. I know. I was like, sorry,
Which I
passed out, guys.
person's dying over here.
yeah, I cut
Oh,
a
I do.
Priority.
I cut a hole right through that freaking crowd, and next thing I know, I look up. There's Keith and Jason, and I was like, all right, cool. These are the best 3 people to be out here right now because we can get this person to safety and get them taken care
I was
of.
walking out right when that happened.
Yeah.
So on
Yeah.
my end too, I was just kind of like, are we still going? You know.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. Well, I know. I felt so
Carrying on
bad
the
because
show?
I just dipped and I was like, "Yep, she's on her own." But this poor person is laying
I
in the ground.
Well, there
I
was the
understand.
one lady that was up in the front, and then there was the lady that was all the way in the back.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the cobblestones,
Yeah.
and that's the one that I had to like cut through. And
Yeah.
Keith looks at me and he goes, "How the hell did you get through there?" And I'm like, "People move for the hat.
I was never gonna make that one.
People move for the hat." Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I mean, I was very. I went back to my military days. Excuse me, make a hole. Excuse me, and then I went right through there, and I was like, dude, drink from my vessel.
So important, yeah.
I'll
I'll even befriend people in different shops that I know, like they've got water bottles.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And so when I come through, they're so sweet to take care of me. too.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you need some water? Because there have been times where my goal is to get down to the green room, maybe where there's some water. But when you get stopped as much
Yeah.
as you do going to, and then you've got someplace to be like right after,
Right.
you might not make it down there. So
Right.
to have some other
Right.
things in place,
Yeah.
and that's why it's not just for me, but it's also if I see somebody that needs help,
Oh, for sure,
like
yeah.
one of our fellow cast members or a customer. Like, dude, yeah, I get it. Don't worry about the cooties. I need you hydrated
I
right
did
now.
the same thing to a young girl. That,
I did last year as well. I was
With
like,
water, yeah.
I had a full mug. Well, she had passed out right at the bridge,
Oh my god!
right after cannon. And I had literally just walked by her,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, hello, hello,"
Yeah.
and I walked, and then all of a sudden this lady grabs me and she goes, "Do you work here?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And she goes, "That girl just hit the ground,"
Down.
and it was the one I just
Oh
said.
my
help.
gosh.
I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I go and I'm like, "Here, sit. Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't- I'm like, "It's a full thing of water."
Right.
Drink, and she kind of looked, and I'm like, "Don't worry about cooties. Drink the water."
Yep.
And her friends like, "Drink it."
Yeah.
Yep. Which I mean,
And she took like this sip, and I'm like, no,
no,
Drink it.
that's the
We're
right
good.
thing to do though. You don't want them to guzzle it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're treating a heat casualty, you want them to sip the water, and you're going to sit there for a while with them.
Oh, yeah.
Move them
Yeah.
into the shade if you can. And if they're wearing, and this is sorry, ladies, if you're wearing like a very tight bodice,
Oh, yeah.
you got to loosen that bad boy up.
Loosen it up.
And you can do it your way, or I can do it my way. My way, you're going to lose the strings.
Well, we had a cast member that went down just inside when cannon went off too. Ryder, who's on our stilts,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they always say, if it's an emergency, drop the character. And
Yep.
stuff.
Yes.
So I'm hearing Kellie, and you immediately,
Yeah.
so you turn around, and one of the cast members is on the ground right next to me. And again, so she had the corset kind
Yep.
of thing on. I'm popping that thing open.
You're damn right.
And she still can't breathe. I'm like, what the heck? Not realizing there was a second one under.
Oh my God.
No wonder, sis. And so then I'm having to go
It's
up
it's
under
looking
her
all
back.
kinds of
I'm like,
weird,
I'm sorry. But
Kelly's got a
I'm
little
like, where did
puppet.
that even come from?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? to
Why are we
yourself?
wearing two?
That's another beauty thing about Lucinda is that, is a comfortable outfit.
Yes.
So,
Dude.
I'm all about being comfortable.
I will say that I now have 3 different costumes for Yensheng. The original one was with the skirt, the maroon skirt.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that one.
Yeah.
Love that one on hot days because that just it breathes. The new one is actually really it's thicker material. And sorry guys, I did order it, but I ordered it from a site that does cinematic and historical recreations.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. I like it. But I have those different costumes and they're all very comfortable. But I sweat a lot in my green robes that I was wearing at the very end of the season.
Yeah.
But it's a good sweat because I could feel I could feel myself cooling when I would hit that. And then, Keith's favorite spots of come stand over here. There's always a breeze here. I'm like, that can't be right. And he's like, no, there's always a breeze here.
Like, come with me.
Yeah.
He's standing there. He goes, oh.
Yeah. Then you take 10 steps, north or south, and it's like, where'd the breeze go?
Where'd the breeze go? Yeah.
But that is, so, getting back to your character, it is awesome that you have found something that is just...
There's the Swiffer.
There's the Swiffer.
It's awesome that you have found a character that is a second skin, basically.
Oh, yeah.
That... You don't really see that very often where it just falls right into the character.
Well, it's like a seamless transition.
Right.
Oh, I do have a legit split personality, and she's the other side.
Yeah.
It's not a character. Lucinda's a lifestyle.
Yeah. It seems to be that way.
More of a character.
Fair.
And Lucinda.
Fair. That's one day I will get Yensheng to be there, and then I'm going to confuse the hell out of Keith because then I'm going to start slipping in and out of Chinese, and it's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be great.
Well, you do it like when my best friend was on cast. She was the Spanish seamstress.
Oh, nice.
And she's a Spanish teacher by nature.
Oh,
cool.
So she will like just bust out into this really long kind of Spanish speaking, and then I'm staring at her. I'm like, she said no. So that's what you can do. And
that's what we're gonna
do.
Well, I also
he said no.
I also thought about making myself subtitles. I thought about because Woodland River Creations is a friend of ours, and he does laser engraving. And I told him my idea, and he's like, "Dude, you tell me what you want, and I'll make you these."
Well, you should do that, and then have one if you're doing all the subtitles, and then at one point go and then have the subtitle be
There you go.
Yeah.
But I've thought about holding up subtitles underneath myself, but I'm speaking English.
Yeah. I love it.
That'd be the way to go.
Yeah, I would have to do it that way because then it's just like, wait, why is he holding up this? What's he holding up?
That's funny.
Straight out goofiness.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have a lot of fun playing with you last year, and you're one of the people that really drew me in and made me feel at home because I was like, your character is iconic, and
thank you so much.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I got to tell my daughter about this. I'm backstage after hours, and I'm hanging out with Lucinda, and we're drinking. Because my older daughter, she went with us a couple of years ago, and she remembered you. She's like, I love that character. I'm like, you could never pull that off. And she's like, what? I could totally pull that off. I'm like,
yes.
no, you couldn't. And she goes, well, why not? And I said, because that is an extrovert. You are an introvert.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and goes, oh, that's a fair point. I said, you would be the person that would just kind of stand there in the background and go, yeah.
We have introverts on cast though.
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah.
They
get into the fair
naturally
and the
they are.
and it just
Yes.
bubbles up.
Well, because we're putting on a role. We're putting on that. We're filling that role for the stage that is the street.
Yeah,
So
and you're more comfortable.
yeah, it's a different person.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you don't have to worry about well, what's your real name? I'm not telling you that.
Yeah.
Where do you live? I'm not telling you that either.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I live in Larkspurshire, right around the corner over here.
Yeah.
Up at the top of the hill of the pirate ship. Good luck.
I live in a cave, and
Yeah.
so on closing day too, like when the cannon went off, and then we're walking in, right? Patrons are still kind of coming out even after we're done singing.
Right.
And so, and I have the Swiffer, and I'm like, get out of my house! 2 months! Like, you guys have left trash, you've eaten all my food, get out of my house!
I saw that. I remember seeing that. I was like, dude,
home.
here goes Kellie.
Tired! Get out of here!
So
I do live there all the time.
this is a question that I'm starting to ask all of the people that appear on the show. What is the oddest moment that you have had with a customer interaction?
Oh.
I could tell you mine. I'll share mine with you.
Okay.
It's one of the very few moments where I was shut down and like I had nothing to say. Guy
that can happen.
Guy comes walking in. I mean, and it was just one sentence the guy said to me, and Keith was standing right there when it happened.
Yeah,
we're getting ready to go to Parapet, and this dude comes walking in, and he goes, "Oh look, they have a Confucius," and I was gobsmacked, man. I was like,
Just watch, and he just smooth walk by. Just
it was just a drive by. He was just like, "Look, they have a Confucius," and then he just kept rolling. And I just looked at Keith, and Keith goes, "Don't look at me."
I'm like, dude, I got nothing. I got nothing here.
I told him, I was like, I was so deflated, man. And I was like, I'm ready for nice costume. That I've got a line for that one.
Yeah.
In China, we call them clothes.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the people do that. Oh, that's a good costume.
Yeah.
Oh, really? We call them clothes.
Right. Yeah. Costume.
What was that? What was the one that the other one was? Well, is there a Chinese guy here? What did China bring to the Renaissance? Well, paper currency, printing, gunpowder, and the magnetic compass. And the guy just kind of looked at,
He's like,
whatever.
I can ask if my hair is real
Fine.
all the time. So.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing that comes. Is that your real hair?
Yeah.
So for all the viewers out there, is that your real hair?
That is not my real hair.
Okay, there.
This is, but yeah. Not the
Yeah, because I
not
mean,
the
dude, that
long
thing
hair.
is poofy.
Yeah, that's
It is.
like
Yeah.
there is volume to that.
And that is the second wig. I think they only last like 2 summers, and then so I bought a new one, and then I compared it, and the other one's like brown. It's got this brown tint.
Oh,
because of all
yeah.
the dirt
Oh,
out
sure.
there and everything. So brand new out of a package, and then like Lucinda's been in it a couple, and then I'll sweat, and it just like
It's
I
all
got
matted.
dreadlocks building up.
Yeah,
underneath.
it's all
not a
matted.
pretty
Yeah.
That's awesome.
scene.
You know, there's a market out there. I'm pretty sure you could sell those.
Ooh.
I mean, people buy anything. Who knows?
Put it on Facebook Marketplace. Be
Yeah.
like gently used.
Yeah. I've sat just ice cubes on the top of the wig and seen how long it would take to like melt and then drip into my hair.
Nice.
Yeah, usually I wear a bandana underneath my hat so that I can soak that. And
Yeah.
that's how I survive.
So I had asked Micah the last show that we did with him, and I said, with him he's been on cast for eons.
Yeah.
But in the last 8 years, what is there a moment that stands out to you that you go, that's why I do this?
Oh my goodness.
I know, right? Think back,
I-
8 years. You got
I
time.
know. I mean, there's some top ones for sure. I had last year. A lot of them are the kids too.
Yeah.
Really, that surprised
I mean,
me.
which is really weird to me because your character eats children
know.
and they all love you.
I know. I mean, how she's out there doing what she's doing still
Yeah.
surprises me. But like I've had 2. I'll be quick in them, but there was one where there was a kid that his dad had him by the hand and they were walking into the gate, and the little boy is yanking on the dad's hand back, and he's like, I gotta talk to the witch. So I kind of hear him, and I bend down, and I mean, I'm not that tall, but he's like just a head length shorter than me. And I'm like, what's up, buddy? And he goes, I eat children too. I'm like, you do? I said, well.
You told me this one.
I said, you're not very tall. Like, do you eat like little babies, newborn babies or something? And And he's like, no, I eat regular children. I'm like, now how do you do that? Because they get stuck in my throat all the time, and everything. And he kind of looks around and he goes, the key is to marinating them in Worcestershire sauce. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, Dad, check his room.
Yeah.
No one scares Lucinda, and that just scared me.
That's
What's
not
happening?
right.
And then I had one a few years ago. So love and romance, again with my props. I had, I think, a parasol, and you might have a picture in it.
Oh,
I have
it's right there.
Stuffed heart. Well, I have a stuffed heart. Yeah, that's love and romance too. I'm getting married to my man witch, but on one of them, it's a heart that I had on a parasol, and I'm walking by, and this young girl is standing there with her arms folded, judging me so harshly that it caught my attention, and I'm like, can I help you? Kind of thing. And she's all, so what is the heart? And I'm like, oh, it's the heart of the man I love on a stick. And she's like, so you're not married anymore? And I'm like, no, because I get away with kind of being sarcastic too. It's my character. I was like, no, clearly. And she goes, so it didn't work out? And I was like, no. And she goes, so why don't you just get a divorce like normal people? And I'm like, I don't know what that word is. And I'm like, technically, we're not together anymore, and I prefer him this way. And she goes, so do you want to find love again? And I'm like, well, sure, why not? Lucinda's,
of course,
on the market. And she goes, okay, well, if it doesn't work out, just get a divorce and move on with your life. Like, this is ridiculous. And she's judging me on this.
Wow.
And the mom
she's not even judging
like,
you as a
sorry.
person.
No.
It's like she's
Not
trying
even
to
the
rationalize
costume, how I
Lucinda.
look. It
Yeah.
was like judging me that I didn't get a divorce and I killed the man. I was just like,
Does she? I mean, are you not a student of history?
I know. I'm
Have
like,
you not heard of our
divorce
king?
for
that was like a future therapist in training,
Right?
there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm going to try my hand with that one.
Just
If I can get a breakthrough on that one,
trying to get
We're
all
gonna be
Freudian with Lucinda.
walking by the chapel. I love walking by the chapel too, because
I've seen you.
Will spark up. There.
Don't do it.
Yeah. We'll have weddings and they come out, But there was one, and it was later in the day, and it was like a group of 3 guys that were in there. They had been drinking and stuff, and so I walked by. Now, men find it funny to hit on Lucinda. And then, especially if there's like really, really good looking men and the wives are like, oh, get a picture with her. I'm like, you silly woman. Because Kellie is eating this up right now.
yeah, you have no idea.
And so there were these guys that were drinking and stuff. And so I walked by and they're like, oh, we want to get married. That's it. You're my wife. Like, they said the first beautiful woman that walked by. And I'm like, I'm in. So we walked down and he's holding my hand and we're at the chapel kind of thing. And his friend is hosting it, or
he's the official.
The officiant or whatever. And so then I go to hug him. I'm like, we're married, and I had taken my leg and looped it around him to hold on, but I was wobbly, so I was kind of doing one of these things, and then I went down. And I'm like, okay, let's go on our honeymoon. And so I started walking down the aisle, and he went behind the table that they have at the chapel thing there. And I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, yeah, some things happened, and I can't walk around for a little while now. So and I'm like, Lucinda still has it. I'm like, goodbye.
All right.
That's
I was
funny.
like, okay, that was kind of funny. There were so many.
That is hilarious. I mean, but that poor dude. I just feel
my gosh,
feel
it was
bad for him.
hilarious.
He's like, no,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go stand behind this thing. I'll be there in a minute, honey.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
And then I ran off.
I got to do some deep thinking. on
Yep,
that.
yep.
But no, your character's super cool because you can definitely get into some interesting
Mischief.
Yeah.
mischief.
Yeah.
Where a lot of other characters can't.
Right.
So
yeah.
you're kind of on the out fringe. Of like, I can get away with a lot more than someone else.
Probably, yeah.
Well, and the character does lend for that off-colored comedy.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it's you can dodge between the double entendre of witchiness and you know, like you're always, I'm bringing hexy, or that's very hexy, you know, like there's that very fine thin line that you just like to kind of toe it a little bit, and just I'm gonna do this, and then what are you gonna do?
Well, and she's such a character that almost everybody enjoys, because like the kids, I have all the stuff, and then I do things with the kids. My skits can be specific for kids.
My favorite is the stew.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite.
In the fountain.
In the fountain.
The paddle and plastic vegetables that I throw in there and stuff.
That's my favorite.
And then women love her because they were just like, sister, you know. Right. So then it's just kind of they like the witch, you know. They're like, oh my gosh, that would be the character I would be if I was out here. And then men find her funny because they're just kind of like, oh, my ex-wife, you know. And so then we'll banter back and forth. So I have a connection with, or I could, you know, have a potential connection with like every person that walks through there. So that's a fun thing about that character too. And so there was one dad inside the gate, and he bent down and he's got his arms open, and I could see in my peripheral was a young kid running up.
You ran right into his arms.
And he was dying.
But see, I mean, that's a neat little hook that the character of Lucinda has, is that she does appeal to multiple audiences. You know, like, you know, with what Keith and I do, we're more of the like upper age categories. We are there for the kids, and we do like to kind of have fun. Like, Keith's a sucker for little girls dressed as princesses.
I can't. They're so. Oh, my lady, hello.
30 minutes.
Don't you look beautiful today? And they're just like.
30 minutes was the longest interaction last year that he had. This little girl would not let him go. And it was the funniest thing in the world to me, because she was just like, I'm going to marry this man. And the dad just looked at me, looked at Keith, looked at the girl, and I was like,
it's medieval England. Anything really goes at this point.
But it's we don't have that connection like that. I mean, most of the time, what I do is, oh look, it's the Chinese master. There's a lot of stereotype that gets attached to the character, which I'm not upset about, because that's what media we've grown up with. Like, oh look, it's the Grand Master. Okay, cool. Not white pointy hat, but kung fu guy. I got you.
It initiates conversation, though.
Yes, and that's what we're there to do. Or my favorite thing to do is, sir, your sword is upside down. Wait, they'll be wearing a katana. It's like, your sword's upside down. No, it's not. They like to argue with me.
I know. I'm like, dude.
The funniest one was the guy at the parapet. Yeah, the funniest one. I tell this story all the time because it's hilarious to me. We're at the parapet, and I look at Keith said something to me. I was like, he's like, oh, it's one of your people. And
I always point him out because I'm like, oh, look, it's one of your people.
And the guy comes walking up, and he's got a pretty decent outfit.
His outfit was good.
His outfit was good. The sword was on wrong.
It was upside down.
And I asked him, your katana is upside down. And he says, no, it's not. And he was incensed that I called him out on this.
Yeah.
I started laughing. And audibly, I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh, God, here it comes.
And his buddy...
I already knew it was going to happen.
His buddy that's standing next to him is like, dude, shut up. Look at that guy. I think he knows what he's talking about. Which causes him to go into more laughter.
Dude, I'm rolling.
And I'm like...
Literally, I'm tearing up. I'm like, this is great.
I said, stay there. I'll be right down. And I told Keith, I said, I'll be right back.
Oh, you were up on parapet?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, go get him.
I went bouncing down the stairs, and I come popping out, and he stayed outside the gate, which is the funniest part, because I told him, don't come inside.
Yeah, he did. He actually waited.
And he waited for me. And so I came out there, and I said, I want you to do me a favor. I see that your sword's not piece knotted yet. Try to pull your sword. And he goes, and it goes all the way up. And I'm like, you're not in a good position to block nor strike. This is why your sword is upside down. And he goes, oh. And his buddy looks at him and goes, I told you, asshole. He knows what he's talking about. And all I hear up from the parapet is,
well, I had a grandma with a young boy, and the boy was just fascinated with everything that I had on my
You got a lot going on your costume.
Yeah. And so I went to go give him a favor of some kind. And the grandmother refused. She's like, absolutely not. We don't want anything from your kind. And so that was the first time that someone put me down for being the witch. And I was like, it's a costume, right?
It's not
I would've-
real
I won't
for the
actually turn
most.
him into a frog.
Like,
but-
Yeah.
Depending on her demeanor, you could have leaned far
Well,
into that.
so that's kind of where it came. So being Ukrainian, there is a phrase that essentially means, so it's like "nai kachka tabakopna," and then
Was that
Mary.
Klingon? Was that Klingon?
It sounded like
It sounded
But
Klingon.
it sounds like a curse, right?
Yes, it does.
It does.
So it's like, if someone makes me mad, I'm going to be like, "Nai kachka tabakopna narusha,"
Ooh, ooh.
which just means may a duck kick you, and that's, an offensive. So that's where if someone's like upset with me, then I just bust out into
That's
may a duck kick you.
like, dude, seriously, you just did that, and I got like little chills down my spine.
And
Like,
there are people who
Very
deserve a good
solid.
duck kicking. I'm
yes,
just saying,
yes, absolutely. Everybody needs a good duck kicking every now and then.
Every so often.
And then I end it with, so Mary, Marusha, is Mary in Ukrainian, and so I end it with that just because it sounds so, like, dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May a duck kick you, Mary. And then they walk off. They knew that's what I was saying.
That's funny.
That's see, those are the little golden nuggets that's it's just the devil's in the details, man.
Yeah.
Like just that little bit that if the minute you have somebody that speaks Ukrainian and then turns around and looks at you and goes, what?
I don't speak it fluently. I know
Right.
what I picked up from my dad.
Right.
My
Yeah.
aunt's talking. And
Right.
so then we had a Ukrainian show up and started talking, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, no,
Hard pass, I'm out here.
Yeah.
Which, I had that
I
actually
know
happen.
how to have a duck kick you. That's all I got.
That's all I
Okay.
That actually happened to me at the end of the season last year. I was eating with the little one, and we were up there by the Queen's Pantry, and this guy, like, I can hear these people talking because that hat is great. It amplifies all the sound around me, and it puts it right in my ear holes. And these people are arguing, and I'm just like, oh, God, I need to get this kid out of here. We need to move somewhere. And then the guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder and goes, excuse me, can you help me settle an argument? I'm like, shit, I don't want to get involved in this. And he's like, my wife and I were just discussing your costume. I was like, really? Well, what's the argument? And he was like, well, I'm trying to tell her that, your costume is from the Ming Dynasty, and she's trying to say it's from the Tang Dynasty, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, you're both kind of right. And I went over and talked with him, and the wife just looked at me, and she was just a very rapt student, like just very patient with me. And then I wasn't really paying attention. Then I got a good look. And homegirl looks at me and goes, I'm from Beijing. I said, dude, you're from China. And she goes, yeah, that's what I just said. I'm from Beijing. And I'm like, that's awesome. She goes, your costume is awesome. You're doing it right. Nice. And I said, that's cool. And she goes, do you speak Chinese? And I'm like, not at all.
No.
I said, but I am actually trying to learn, and I'm still trying to pick it up. And it's been a few months since I practiced it, but I think that having a couple of phrases that I could say would really help out.
Well, and to that point, when I was first starting out as the witch too, I would get a lot of people coming in saying "blessed be" or "I'm a witch" as well, which Wiccan is a thing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people would come in, and I 100% for the character, I was like, okay, well maybe I should look into that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And totally started kind of studying that as well and everything too. So. Because of the character.
Right.
So now
No, it makes sense.
I know what they're talking about.
Especially if a customer is going to engage you on that level, you want to be able to, respond appropriately. Yeah. It's good manners. Good form.
Good form.
Good form. Man, it's already been an hour and a half, man.
It has been an hour and a half.
I'm a talker. Sorry.
Fantastic. No, that's fine.
Keith and I always say this. Every episode, it's like, dude, it just goes by.
It ends when it ends.
Does, yeah.
But we do want to touch on a couple other things because it's not only do you do Lucinda.
Yes.
You play other characters,
We kind of alluded to them.
At other fairs. Yeah, we kind of mentioned to, but Ursula, I think, is one of the biggest ones that you do at the Pirate Festival in Northglenn.
Besides Lucinda, Ursula is probably one of my favorites for sure. I made that one out of
Do you do the songs and everything?
Well, I don't sing well, But
I didn't ask if you sang well. I just asked if you
will
sang the
sing.
songs.
Because, so she debuted at a Starfest convention, which is
Okay.
like a cosplay one. And, you know, you have to buy wristbands to get in through that. And we hadn't. And we were just kind of walking through. And I had so many people like, oh my God, can I get a picture? You know, like, again, it was kind of a step off from Lucinda. Just constantly, we were stopped all the time
Right.
for a picture. And so North Glen Pirate Fest. So I'll do my pirate. It's a Friday night for adults, and then Saturday is for kids, family oriented. But they have mermaid tanks out there, and they've got, you know, on the water they would have a pirate ship, and so I brought Ursula there on a Saturday, and she's on the banner for North Glen Pirate Fest.
Oh, yeah.
To advertise that, and so for that I'll have a bag of seashells too for the kids, and again, I've worn that for like 3 years now in September for, they do it for National Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Right.
And I'll have kids come up to Ursula and just be like, I have a picture with you every year. And so, so that's fun. That costume I made with a wedding gown from Goodwill, painted it purple and black, and then made all the tentacles onto a belt. And then it's just a corset. And then now the wig I got was from like a drag queen shop in Las Vegas because I wanted a good Ursula.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Something that's quality
Yeah.
that doesn't look
So
chintzy.
Has anyone showed up tried to out Ursula you?
So what's funny is there was a guy.
See, I knew it.
There was a guy on here, and this was the second year I was out there. So I kind of had already come and established what I look like.
Yeah.
And there was a photographer who unfortunately had recently passed away, but he used to come to Renaissance a lot. And then he was up at North Glen too. And so he's like, Kellie, we're by the water. I totally want to do a photo shoot with you by the water and stuff. And so the following year, we had done that photo shoot. And then we see a guy who is dressed as Ursula. But he's got, I don't know how he put the paint on. And listen, I applaud anyone who attempts to dress up and go and have fun and do your thing. You know, but the paint was a dark purple and kind of blotchy.
Body
and,
paint,
yeah.
You know, like a little pixie wig and stuff. And so my group were like, hey, another Ursula. And so my friend went over to go get him because we wanted to do a picture together. And he turned around and looked, he's like, yeah, no. We ultimately got a picture with him, but he's like, I hate you for making me do this. And even the photographer was like, yeah, we do have an Ursula that comes here, and she's pretty good. You might just want to, like...
Yeah.
Exit, stage left even.
Yeah, so the costumes are my legit... You know, I put some good thought into it.
Yeah.
Sure, try and make
Absolutely.
them
So you do
well.
that one. You do the pirate.
I do pirate. I started born as a pirate. Yeah.
Born as a pirate.
So I still have roots there. for
Halloween
sure.
parties.
Yep. I've done like a Mad Hatter, a Medusa.
Ooh.
Zombie. We do zombie crawl, so we'll do different zombies makeup. Yeah, just
And this is my favorite one up here because Keith and I were talking
Yeah.
about this.
So
The Mrs. Claus.
it's true.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Every year?
No. So I used to have a number of jobs. I've worked like a full-time job and a part-time job for a long time. And so one of the part-time jobs I had for a long time was in a nursing home.
Okay.
And so it was in skilled nursing. They really couldn't go anywhere, you know. It's kind of their last stop, really, in that particular wing of it. And so we have to take turns working on holidays. And so there was a Christmas morning that I knew I was going to work. And there's a lot of residents that don't have family that come. And so I have a Mrs. Claus that has the little wire glasses and the white wig and a red cloak, red velvet cloak. And Mrs. Claus with the white gloves and then a basket, and I passed out candy canes to the residents there.
nice.
And
See, I was picturing that you're doing this at like at malls with like a Santa.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping it was because, you know, Keith and I were talking about it, and I was like, dude, Lucinda's in cahoots with Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's using Lucinda's using Santa to scope out the kids.
I mean, I have Renaissance in the
Give me
summer.
the list of the naughty ones.
Yeah, I usually run out of food by December. So
Right?
Yeah.
I need a
I mean,
hookup.
you're just all you're doing is building a shopping list at that
Yeah.
point.
Exactly.
Just
You get
restocking
one
the
list, I get
pantry.
the other.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You can have Saint Nick. You can have the nice list. I'll just
Exactly.
Give me the
don't
naughty
ask
list.
about what happened to the naughty kids.
There is nothing gone unwasted. We
That's
both
right.
use each of the names.
That's
on the
right.
list.
That's right. There you go. But those are, I mean, and so do you do any other type of cosplays anywhere else?
Just for fun.
Okay.
We'll hit other Renaissance festivals. On the most recent one, we went to Texas. I did it was my first time being an elf.
Oh, cool.
So I actually had
Like
did the
Keebler?
elf ears.
Like Keebler, or are we talking like Lord of the Rings?
No, probably like Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So, and it was like a brown. It was like greens and browns, and
I like those colors.
And I love wigs and contacts. So anything where I can wear. Ursula has the white contacts in.
Yeah.
Lucinda obviously has 2 different ones in.
Right.
So anything I can wear contacts.
And they move from eye to
Right.
I looked at her and was like, that was on the other eye.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
like-
flip them between Saturday and
it's
Sunday.
like
And
Men
that
in
was
Tights
started
with
as
the
a
mole.
joke to see who would notice.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
so-
like, wait, that was on the other eye yesterday, wasn't it? You're like, yeah. I was like,
And
okay.
I didn't get to wear them at first because he thought it might scare the kids.
Yeah.
You know,
They love it.
So,
The
I mean,
kids
it's-
absolutely love it.
It's
fascinated
weird
by
looking,
it,
but
so
I
I'm
mean,
glad
it's
I get to wear
not
'em.
scary. You know,
My sister hates them.
there's more scary ones out there.
Right.
You know, that one's relatively tame.
I mean, if they were red, I think that would freak out some
Yeah.
kids.
Well, and that wouldn't make sense. So that was also inspired by Robin Hood, the witch from that one, because she
Oh,
had
yeah.
the milky eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I was kind of
Yeah.
pulling a
Prince
little
of
bit
Thieves.
her. Yeah, in that. So the elf had, and the wigs I love. So she had long red hair.
Yes.
That I wore. So that was fun. I like changing up how I look in any of the costumes. But
Right.
officially, we'll just do other festivals. North Glen Pirate Fest. Our pirate group will wear different things. It's amazing how many costumes you can wear throughout a whole year.
Which
in different
speaking of your pirate group, we have recently reached out to them,
places. I saw that.
Yeah.
and we're staging a coup of sorts, if you will.
I saw that.
So I do sing. Keith sings as well, and so
Yeah, I know that.
we both are fans of doing karaoke, and I decided I was going to put this thing on because why the hell not? It's funny.
Yeah.
So I talked with the folks that run the Dublin House in Colorado Springs, and they were like, so what do you want us to do? I'm like, absolutely nothing. Provide the venue, make sure you got enough alcohol and enough food, and we're good. And the lady looks at me and goes, you do realize this is a bar, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you do realize I'm talking like
We're inviting pirates.
Yeah.
You have no
we're
idea
gonna
what
get
you're
a
doing.
bunch of people in costume. The only thing that I'm making sure is that they understand, don't bring your prop weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't want any issues there. I don't care if it's a prop sword or a prop pistol. I don't care. Just
Right. And they're used to that. There's an event halfway to Ren Fair, and Celtic Legacy plays.
Okay,
in
yeah,
January up in North Glen
Yeah.
as well too. So a lot of the pirates are there, and
Yeah.
same thing. Like no flasks, no
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, so
we're not
there's-
even allowed to bring cups. We can't bring our mugs
Oh.
Yeah.
in. They
Yeah.
I've still got to go back and negotiate with them, but. I did talk with their KJ, and I was like, "Hey, man, what shanty songs and Renaissance style songs do you have?" And he goes, "I got Drunken Sailor." And I said,
Oh, we all love that one.
"Cool, I'm gonna fix that." And he goes, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm working on something for the end of May, and I'm gonna make sure that we have the songs that you can import on, off of a drive or off of a disc or something." And he's like, "Okay." So now the concept is that it's, dude, they've got good food. I don't know if you've ever been there, the Dublin
I
House.
haven't. I don't get down to Colorado past Larkspur in the summer at all.
Okay.
So besides
Yeah.
that, I don't get down
Yeah,
there very
so
often.
so they have they've got a lot of like Irish and Scottish style foods, and then fusion. They're really good. Cindy had the what was it? Oh yeah, Irish nachos.
Ooh.
It's fried potatoes with corned beef.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's actually really good.
Yeah,
It was
That makes
really
sense.
good.
Yeah.
So they call it Irish nachos, but it's like fried potatoes, or like they're. I don't think they're store bought. I think they're like thinly shaved.
Yeah.
Thinly shaved potatoes that are like kind of like chips.
Yeah.
They're really good. But we went up there for something. I can't remember what the actual event was. I think it was just something that we got invited to. And then I was like, this would be funny. And so I started talking with our waitress, and she was like, dude, I said, I need your help to make this happen. And she goes, I want to be part of this. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, I said, really what you need to do is you need to work this event. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, you do realize that we're a bunch of weirdos and we appreciate people that take care of us. And she goes, oh. And I said, yeah, we tip because we're performers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We know what it's like to slug and to do these things. So we're not the type of guy that's just like, thanks for that $60 tab. Here's $2.
Right.
And she was like, what? I said, don't worry about it. And so on my way out, I handed her a $20 bill, and she looks at me and she goes, that's too much. And I'm like, I don't know if you realize this, but I'm not taking that money back from you.
Yeah,
You're going to have to wrestle me and put it in my pocket. And she goes, yeah, I'll get fired for that. I'm like, then I guess you're stuck with $20. But so we're going to do that. It's just a pirate takeover. And the big thing is that I'm trying to get everybody, I don't want everybody sitting together.
Oh.
I want us to spread out.
Doing name cards, are you?
No. I just want, it's okay if you have like pockets of people sitting together, but I don't want us all just like in one spot.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to like the when we all sing, it should fill the bar, not just come from one spot.
Yeah.
So if we separate people, and now you're forcing people to sit in between us, and that's funny.
Fun, yeah.
Because you got these guys that are dressed up as pirates, and then you've got just some normie that shows up, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Muggle.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting.
Dude. Yep.
But yeah, no, I reached out to your peeps.
Yeah, the CM.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and you can actually find those guys up at the Colorado Renaissance Festival. They're the guys that have the hand, right? That's the skeletal hand. Is that who those guys are? The Crimson Mark?
No.
Which one are those?
They were just hanging out at
I don't
the
know who
Pirate
those guys
Club.
are.
I thought you knew those dudes.
With the hand.
Yeah, it's like a skeletal hand on a patch or something like that. I don't know. I might be going crazy.
I'm not sure who those guys are.
On a patch?
Yeah.
There's a number of different ships.
Okay,
that are under the Crimson Mark. So depending on the ship that you're on.
Oh, okay.
Then there's different symbols. So there's like 5 or 6 of them now.
Oh,
so
yeah,
because
she just got the Black Widow, right?
And the Leviathan.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. The Leviathan is the one I'm on. There's Crimson Mark, I think, is a Rocky Mountain chapter.
Okay.
So it's like New Orleans has one.
Oh, cool.
We've done
Yeah.
stuff with them, and so they'll come
But yeah,
here.
no, I reached out and I was like, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and I'm not sure who I talked to because it just comes back with
Crimson Mark.
Right.
Right.
Oh, we'll have to see what we can do. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
We planned a number of invades. Like invade burlesque, clock tower, children's hospital.
Oh yeah.
A number of invades. So
It's always fun, especially when you can kind of get out there into the crowds of normal people and show them, hey, dude.
See, I think we're the normal people. Everyone else is
Everyone
weird because they don't do what we do.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and think that.
All right, cool.
But we have one last piece of business that we must attend to.
We do have one last piece of business.
Yes, and notice I kind of segue with that with the
I know
different business.
with the patch.
Okay.
Not Kellie.
Oh,
Not Kellie.
Oh, that's right.
That's for
right.
Lucinda.
That's for
Lucinda sent the spaghetti.
That's right.
Yes. No. So you were speaking of, and
Oh yes.
We-
yeah.
we are honoring you.
Yay!
You are now a official honorary member of the Renaissance Rascals.
I love it. Thank you so much.
We did include locking backers on
Yeah,
there.
so there's locking backers, so they
you
won't
will
come off.
need a little bit of an Allen key to get those off.
Yep.
Little tiny
Those are
Allen
kind of
key.
like the cast pins.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So-
But
Oh yay!
I got those because I was like, dude, I really don't want somebody to accidentally bump up against something and lose their pin.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
these things are precious commodities because there's only 111 of
Yay.
them in existence
Yes.
for now.
I saw them and I wanted one, so this brings me great joy. Thank you, boys.
Well, and you guys can check out the renaissancerascals.com. We're gonna have her Kellie's bio up there, plus a little bit about Lucinda, some of the fun facts that we talked about. You could always revisit those, and that's gonna be in the honorary Rascals gallery. It's funny because I was just telling somebody not long ago. There's only two of us. There's only two of us.
There's only two,
but officially there's only two of us.
Yes.
The rest of them are just honorary.
We do have honorary members.
That's right, honorary members. It's like some kind of chapter or something. I don't know.
Like a cult. Ooh.
Lucinda approves.
All right, we have Lucinda's approval.
Yes.
In this cult,
we are now a cult.
In this cult is there free Scotch eggs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
We're gonna go down the checklist. Spaghetti.
Got it.
Yep.
Right here.
Hold it up. Hold it up. There you go.
Sketties.
Check.
Yeah.
And then costumes.
Yeah, we got those.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
Cool. And most of all, who's paying for my gas?
That would be Dave in accounting.
Okay, David.
Yes.
But Kellie, I absolutely adore you for coming down here.
This is fantastic.
It was an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
You showing up. This is probably
like,
we got like 4 moments that it's like 3 moments now that are like, wow, we actually got to interview that person.
I know. We get to fanboy a little bit. It's
Right.
cool.
Me too.
But we do look forward to seeing you out on the streets this year.
Yes.
And playing. I know that you're going to be on a limited run.
Exclusive run.
Yeah.
An
I'll
exclusive
still be out
run.
there. Exclusive. Yeah.
Okay.
I might be hiding behind a corner. You never know what day I'll be out there. I don't know.
Exactly. See?
Ooh, my favorite game. Where's Lucinda?
Yes.
It's like Where's Waldo, but hexier.
Yes. Like a Lucinda
I
hide-and-seek.
like it. I like it. All right.
Which
Count to 666 and then come looking for me.
I'm telling you, no, dude. Here's the game. Here's the game. During the season, take your pictures of Lucinda, post them up on our Facebook page, and
Yes.
that way it's like a Sasquatch sighting.
Yes. if you spot her,
We want to see the funniest Lucinda picture.
yes.
That's what we're looking for.
Yes. I might be in the Witchness Protection Program.
The
this
Witchness
summer,
Protection
so
Program.
I gotta be hidden because
I
of
like
things
it.
I saw over the winter.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, if you guys see her, take a picture.
Yes, and
Post
post
it
it
on
up.
the website.
Yeah.
Post it up. Tag us. Tag her, and let's have some fun with it. Lucinda does have her own Facebook page.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Spelled just like it is up on the screen. Lucinda Jinx.
We'll go
Lucinda
that one.
Jinx.
Oh no, not that
On,
one. That one.
Facebook.
That one
That's
right
the
there.
one.
Right there.
Yeah.
Lucinda Jinx.
boom shakalaka.
That's
right
this
there.
is she's you can't hear the sound to this, but I it's ingrained in my memory. It is the mating call to Chad.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes.
That dude is a beefcake, and I'm afraid of him.
I know. I tried letting my hair down from the parapet to, because as a princess would do.
Of
For
course.
him to save me, and he
Did
said,
you just
"Nah."
throw it?
I pulled one out and I threw it at him.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, that'll never hold me. You're up there. You're
Yeah.
on your own."
You-
I'm like, "That's the worst fairy tale ever, Chad."
He was not having it.
He was
He was not having it.
rude. So
Well, that's gonna about wrap it up for us today.
That will.
Oh my god, we always have fun.
What episode was this?
35
Or 22, whatever.
whichever one.
Yeah.
I'm Rob.
I'm Keith.
We're the Renaissance Rascals,
We
along
are.
with one of our honorary rascals, Lucinda Jinx, also known as Kellie. We will catch you guys next time, and we're getting close to festival.
Yes.
I think by the time this
40
airs, we're going to be a little bit closer. Actually, we'll be under 30 by the time this one airs.
Yes.
So we do have some things that are going to be coming up, and when we are at the show, we're going to do weekly recaps with you guys, kind of talk about some of the cool things, some of the bad things.
Yep.
Don't do things and do these things. And also sightings of honorary rascals, and hey, who knows, maybe you can earn a pin yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if you snap a picture of an honorary rascal, they will be wearing a pin.
Or if you follow us and you find us, maybe we'll give you a pin. I don't know.
You have to
I'm
earn-
stingy
you-
with them.
You have to
might-
earn it, though.
Keith might make you do a
You
funny
gotta
little
earn 'em.
dance.
Yeah.
But, how do you earn it? That's the question that's burning in everybody's mind.
And I wish we had the answers.
Actually, I do have a good answer for that.
Oh,
What's the character?
Oh, that's true.
And most importantly, what's the end then?
And then.
So we'll catch you guys next time. We do appreciate you tuning in. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe.
I like being chaired.
He does, but he does not share his stupid spaghetti.
No. It's mine.
That was a great episode.
I got spaghetti.
I always love hanging out with friends.
That was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That is how we do it.
That's it. That's how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
just let it burn for a little bit.
What else are we gonna do?
Eat some brisket because I made I smoked some brisket for us.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm